Hello, all. Welcome to another podcast. This one is going to be about building products. So, as a new entrepreneur, and I say new, I'm kind of a passive entrepreneur. I still have a job, but I do also own an LLC. I am passively working on my own thing. Now, if this replaces my income, great. If I can make some extra beer money, that's kind of also another benefit. So, back into it. So, building products as a new entrepreneur. So, just a little background in my employment, which I don't think I've ever talked about here. My actual employment is kind of a product manager for technology companies, numerous technology companies. Some of them you've actually probably heard of. But I build products and kind of own that product. So if you need a yogurt maker or an internal eBay or, I don't know, some type of digital phone app to bill for logistics. These are all things that I have spearheaded and blueprinted for the various companies I work for. And we build software. I build software. I work with teams that build software. So why I deviate into that is because a couple years ago I started working with an entrepreneur to build a product, and I found out how he was basically getting his client to pay for his product. Now I say product, not project. Project's like an endeavor. Product is a platform. It's something that you use. Like your phone's a product. Facebook's a product. Musicians, their brand is a product. So, anywho, what I noticed was this entrepreneur, clever as he was, basically did a project for a client, and out of that project, the client financed an IP, an intellectual property. So the brilliance behind that was the entrepreneur was able to obtain a free product out of that project. And what's even better is once that project was complete and went live, the piece of software that was deployed out to the general audience, the end users, the entrepreneur could basically use those individuals as guinea pigs to collect feedback. You know, is the product buggy? Does it work? What can we improve on it? Those users were kind of, for lack of a better term, beta users. So that is an interesting way to go about starting a business, because it's not as romantic as the latest Hollywood movie, but it is very conservative and mild because the entrepreneur was getting paid to deploy this project, and now the core code is his. The client is just paying a monthly fee to use the product, but it's the code and the functions are owned by the entrepreneur. So he can take that piece of code and just do some reverse engineering or just do some regular engineering to the code and make it fit for other clients. And that's exactly what he's done. And he's definitely a millionaire. So how awesome is that? That is kind of what I'm doing with my current business. I am not advertising a website. I'm not on the social platforms, not at this current moment. I am working on getting a project to finance my intellectual property. And I speak this vagueness about it because it keeps what I'm actually doing somewhat ambiguous, because my clients or employers may be looking at this site, which is just fine. It's absolutely fine. So that's kind of what this podcast is about. If you're employed, regular 9 to 5, and you have ambitions to start a side gig, to open your own business, my question to you is, can you have your employer or your friends or a client finance the endeavor? And I've seen subcontractors, like general contractors, do this as well. Like I knew a guy who needed to put, he had his own contracting business, like a handyman company, and a client needed to put holes in the ground. Well, the contractor didn't own an auger, but he had the client. He built that into the fee of doing the project, of making those hole posts in the ground. And when the project was done, the general contractor got a free auger out of the deal. So this is a cool concept, because if you're working for somebody, it means you have some options here to kind of go off on your own and solve some problems. What problems does your current employer have? He could be a client of yours. If your employer has a problem and you're into software or you're into fabrication or I don't know, whatever else, you can then pitch an idea to your employer, and you can use him as the guinea pig for if your idea is good. So I think that's really all I'm going to talk about on this as the day for today's podcast. But as I continue to develop my product and bid on projects to buy my product, I will fill you in on the progress. And once I actually have something live where I'm actually making money, I will share the links and all of that so you guys can see what I'm actually doing. So that's all I have. I hope you have a great one. Talk to you later.